It's been a long time since we last heard from Keith. We got a video of him at the end of April. Hamas released we call it psychological terror, where they sit down the hostages and film them, forcing them what to say. So we got a video of Keith, and in this, crazy and unbearable situation we're in, that's actually a good thing because one of the only families that got to see their loved one, hear their voice, get a, sign of life. But that was end of April, half a year ago. And we don't know
and you haven't heard anything since.
nothing.
Okay,
No.
and it's hard for someone watching this from afar to imagine what you and your family are going through. Can you tell us how you and the family are coping?
So my best way to describe it is, just feel like someone reaches out to you at your safe zone and takes away a part of you. The hostages, Keith and Aviva and many more, were taken from the borders of Israel, from their homes, their beds, in their pajamas. And it's a terrible feeling. You feel helpless. All you want to do is go look for them, go fetch them, but you can't because it's a war zone. And it's very frustrating. And it's been like this for a year. Again, we got partially lucky because we got Aviva back, and that was the most amazing experience I've had in my entire life. She was, brought up to life. We knew nothing about her for 51 days, and then suddenly she walked at the front door of the hospital. So that's a moment I'll never forget. And it also goes to show that it's possible that hostages can come back alive when leaders do brave choices and sign agreements. And I think that's the proof that we all need to see that something like this is possible. And we need to push our leaders to do another deal like this before it is too late. We just got the toughest a reminder of the conditions that the hostages are held in when 6 hostages were brutally executed a month ago. So the hostages really do not have time, and this 1-year anniversary is another reminder for that. We need to get them out before it's too late, and the way to do it is to sign a hostage deal.
Yes, and how would you describe those efforts to bring them home from the Israeli government's point of view?
Listen, at the end, there's one solution here, and that's to see the hostages back home. Everything less than that is not a success. Even if we're getting close, even if we're working hard, and people are working hard, and I know that for sure. But as long as they are still there, they are failing. We are failing. So yeah, that's also very frustrating because I know people are working hard, both on the Israeli government and the American government and the Qatari and the Egyptians. I know we and the rest of the families are working hard. I know other people around the world are working behind the scenes, but the hostages are still there for a year, and they're not getting any better.
And Yuval, given the continued sort of relentless military operations into Gaza, how would you then see the methods that the Netanyahu government is exercising from its military operations, but also in tandem to get the hostages back? Do you think enough is being done on that front?
So listen, after the October 7th attack, it was crucial to respond. I can reckon that, but it's been a year. So many lives we lost so many lives. Soldiers, hostages, civilians on both sides, both on the Israeli side and the Gazan side. And I think, I'm no politician, but I think it's time to say, okay, we got to our military achievements. Now it's time to translate it into achievements that can save lives and reach agreements. That's if that's the purpose of the whole war, then let's put it into progress.
Do you believe perhaps a ceasefire would help you get there? Would help you and
Of course,
families of
that's the
other
only
captives
way.
get there?
That's the only way. Again, we saw it at the end of November. The only way to get hostages back, to get the aid that people in Gaza need, is to reach a ceasefire. Um, and I think after a year of fighting and so many losses, we must go in this direction for everyone who's involved. You know, the hostage families are a small portion, but as I said, we have many civilians who are suffering immensely from this situation. We have the soldiers and their families, and everyone needs a break. Long ago, but you know, better late than never.
And can you just tell us as well, what have you and family members of other captives have had to do on your own to bring forward this cause to get hostages returned back to Israel?
So it's a very frustrating situation because, as I described, you know, it's not up to us. We have our government, and it's governmental decisions that can keep our loved ones there or bring them back home. And of course, Hamas is responsible for everything that happened on October 7th. They murdered 1,400 people. They kidnapped over 200, and they keep them in these terrible conditions. But I didn't elect Hamas, and I don't pay his salary. The only party I can address is my own government. And so that's where we aiming our actions to urge our government to go and sign a hostage deal. You know, even if the prices are high, even if it's difficult, I'm sure it's not easy. Like I don't wish them to swap me in being a family of a hostage. I don't wish to swap them in these tough decisions. But it's been a year, and we need to see a deal. We need to see the hostages back. They really don't have time.
Yuval, I also wanted to ask you that we had reports a couple of hours ago that there were air raid sirens in Tel Aviv, where you are. Did you hear those sirens?
So the siren didn't go off in my area, but I heard the interception. So I heard the booms. Sadly, we're used to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and give us a sense of what it feels like for you as a resident there when you hear either the sirens or, as you say, the interceptions that you did hear today. Does that sort of put you in a situation where you don't feel safe?
You know, when you have so much to worry about, you have your father-in-law in captivity, and many other hostages that you already know, you already feel like you know. And when you have friends and family fighting in the battlefield, these sirens are really, I would say, the less of my concerns. But yeah, it doesn't add to your well-being having to run to the shelter every now and then. So of course it's stressful.
Okay, Yuval Baron, really thanks for giving us your time this
Can I
evening,
add
and
one
wish you well.
more sentence?
Yes, please go ahead.
Can I add one more? Thank you. So I try to use every opportunity I have to speak, you know, on platforms that address the worldwide. We never know where a solution can come from. And as I mentioned earlier, I know that there are many diplomatic relations that are secret and behind the scene. And I really address anyone who has any influence over Hamas, over Israel, over any mediator, to act and to act quickly to help us get a ceasefire that will bring the hostages back and will bring peace to the area. We really, really need it.
Okay, Yuval Baron, really appreciate your time this evening, and do wish you and your family well.
Thank you very much. Wish you well as well.